What is good, friends, and welcome back. Yes, Cairo is officially done. Less than 22 hours until we get kicked out of the city. The rewards has been distributed, and slowly the city is getting gutted from players as there's no more things to do. As you can see, I'm nearby the only village from server 14. They were able to build this just before the end, and we were not able to stop them. By the time we reach their villages, we just stopped the bleeding, and that attempt was a good attempt, as it promoted a lot of fighting. Yes, that all this area right there was filled with bases, and we were constantly fighting, mostly for fun, as there was nothing else to do. So thank you for that final fight. It was much appreciated. So I'm going to zoom out and show you the city. You can see that for yourself, so no big deal. I'm not gonna waste your time with this. As you can see, EV14 still have some claimed land. They were able to rebuild their central command and enjoy farming for the rest of the event. On the left, or on the west portion of the map, this is all that used to be all server 14 claim land. Of course, there's no trace of it as we build it toward and delete everything. As you know, HBR and 24 got all the action as they were located on the west side of the city. We were located on the east side of the city, and there was not much to do. This is our original drop spot. There was a lot of building, as you can see, a lot of construction. So overall, there's no surprise here. I'm a little bit disappointing about this conquest due to the lack of fighting, but I kind of understand the reason if you are unaware of the situation. So just to tell you the quick story, it was a 2 versus 6 battle, meaning that EV14 and server 14 were against 6 alliances, and naturally server 14 were not happy about the outcome. Initially, we want to promote a 4 versus 4, but Knights of 7 and SSF, they didn't want that. They didn't want to work with server 14. So they had to play with us. But at the very beginning, we clearly stated that there would be no rewards for them, as we had to push 24 to the Paramount final, therefore giving them most of the rewards. So everything was calculated precisely, and all our allies were aware of the situation. So there were no surprise. Everything was set in stone, and nobody ever complained until the end. So more on that topic later in this video. 24 took and kept the pyramid. We took the 5 settlement, some arms factory, some labs, to maximize our reward as well. If you wanted to take a look at the rewards, so first of all, the mission, the only two commander missions I failed is the spent desert oil, 40 million and 50 million. I'm not a big fan of the map building. I'm not against them when it's in terms of fighting. I love to bust those turrets. However, I'm not a big fan of building them. I think they're more annoying than anything else. When you want to plop your base and there's a turret blocking you, this is my main issue. So I try to, if I have to build them, it's because I'm getting soon to be attacked. Otherwise, I never build them. So those are the 2 missions I failed. I'm gonna slowly scroll down just to show you that everything is done like that. There you go. Alliance repute. Killing enemies was not an issue. Alliance missions, everything is done. So I'm gonna scroll down like this. And coalition mission, we didn't capture, and well, we did capture the pyramid, but we didn't hold it. 24 got this. And coalition mission, we are with Mu server 8, so they were quite happy to collect the same reward as we did. Good for them. As you can see, we pretty much did everything in terms of fighting machine. No surprise here. Espo, big guy, got first place. Good for him. So he got 16 cash mission, 18 not 18 but 8 air components, 80 statues, and all that good stuff. I ranked in 120th position. I used to be in 147, but because 14 built the final central command at the end where I showed you, that bumped me up to 120 place. Good for me. This is the reward everybody got. So 100 first to 500. This is the stuff I claimed. Coalition repute use, yeah, we are with Mu. And paramount points, we got top ranking, and then server 24 got the second place, followed by HBR, server 14, Knights of 7, and all these guys right there. Alliance repute, yeah, just in case you did see this one. So this is the final ranking, and we got the first place. I got the elite reward right there. It used to show the members list of who got who, but I'm in this tier right there. So this is it. Conquest battle plan. We believe it or not, we failed the first mission. The first day, for some reason, we removed the central command just before the reset, therefore disqualifying us from the first mission. A big fail for us. It's a little mistake, not a big deal. What else can I show you before I go to the drama section, right? So yep, so like I said, 14 were unhappy, and to protest and to express their disagreement with the outcome, their plan was to starve us from kills. Okay, so what happened is, because of the location where we spawned in the city, we were opposed, not opposed, but we were at the extreme opposite of server 14. So right from the beginning, we could not engage them, and we could not even engage anyone as we had peace treaty going around. Okay, so that was kind of frustrating. And when the fort opened, same thing, no combat. It's only when the level 1 blockhouse opened that we could reach server 14. Like EV, I'm gonna say server 14, I include EV 14 and 14. Okay, so no confusion here. So where am I now? Okay, so when the blockhouse open right there, we reach out. You saw that video on the midway update. We reach out to this blockhouse that belonged to 14. They captured it for the reward. Then they didn't oppose, or they didn't fight us there. Only very few bases. That was an easy cap. Then we worked our way to the level 3 fort, north and south. EV14 up north, server 14 south. Then again, we captured those without any opposition. I mean, a little bit on the south portion where server 14 is. Few strong players want to have some action, but it was like maybe 5% of the alliance fighting. So we took that quite fast, and then we were blocked there. We were blocked as we could not pass this fort. Or maybe this area, as the save zone gave 14 some protection. So we were stuck there, and we could not help either server 24 and HBR because of those save zones. You could not get across them. That was a bit frustrating, I'm not gonna lie. I think that I understand the reason why 14 did that, to starve us from kills, but in the end, it didn't do any. It had no purposes, as we gain our maximum paramount points regardless of if they engage or not. And in the end, they did engage, and thank you for that. But besides that, it's only when the save zone dropped that we could engage them. But suddenly, when the save zone dropped, half of 14 went away. They just returned to their level 3 city. Most of them didn't want to fight, but of course some of them did. And I'm sure that you saw the footage. It happened in this portion right there. There were some great combat, a lot of action, but of course it was not as intense as we thought it would be. So that was kind of the whole situation until the very end. So until the very end, something happened in this portion. So about 48 hours before the conquest officially end, server 14 decided to build 2 central command without us knowing, with the help of somebody from special forces that shall not be named, and they almost got us, okay? And I say almost because it was a nicely executed plan. And the sad thing about it is I couldn't get involved as I was on the middle of a lake on a boat, so I couldn't play. I was on my mobile, but I hate playing Warpath on my mobile. Every time I try to play, it's because I have no choice and I can only play for a small portion of time. After 5 minutes, the phone overheats and the game becomes unplayable, especially when there's a lot of action. It's impossible to play, even in light mode, and I hate light mode. So anyways, they built 2 central command. They were almost done, and the place was filled with bases. I mean, it was filled, and the worst part is that settlement was getting open for contest, so the timing was perfect, and their goal was to take the settlement away from us, therefore to impede our final reward. Remember, we wanted that 5 settlements, and losing one would get us much less reward. But it failed. It was a nice plan. It was well executed, but we just had a lot of bases going there. As soon as we had army groups forming, what we did is we attack on the side just like this. Boom, we took off some easy weaker base, and that instantly that building started to fall apart, and we just wiped them clean after. And then the city chat became interesting. There were a few outbursts. I think you saw some post about it on Facebook. I understand the reaction. I mean, like I said, props to 14 for trying. It was very entertaining. It was a nice try. Anyways, so that was the first thing that happened that made the conquest very interesting. The second thing that happened is when the dust settled down and everybody got aware, we found out that during that battle there was a peace treaty between Knights of 7 and 14. Even though 14 said and swore that they would never play, they would never work with 14. They said that. Even the leader back then, which is not the leader anymore, for a reason I don't know, they clearly state that they would not work with 14. However, they had a peace treaty going on, even though 14 had absolutely 0.0 claim land, valid or not, in the whole city. So there was no point of having a peace treaty with your rival. And when you sign a peace treaty with our rival, by default, we do not work with you anymore. That makes sense, right? So we found out, first of all, they had a peace treaty, and one of the players of SSF was working for 14. So what we did is we were worried about our arms factory. If I can find it, yeah, there you go. So the arms factory is right there. It belonged to us. We only had this road connected as it was surrounded by Knights of 7 land. So when we found out about the leak mail saying that server 7 would no longer work with 24 and no longer work with HBR, they would do their things of their own, plus the fact that they had a peace treaty going on with server 14, we were worried that we would lose this arm factory as it was getting open for contest. Same thing for the lab right there. Just need to find it again. Sorry for the trouble. Same thing for that lab. It was surrounded or close by Knights of 7. So we had no choice to break the peace treaty and burn all the bases and the claim land to protect our asset. Okay, I know you guys from server 7, Knights of 7, you were not happy about this, but you guys knew that you would get no rewards from the beginning. It was set in stone. Nobody from server 7 said a single word during the whole conquest. I never heard a single complaint about that. Okay, so you guys knew about this and you agreed to it. So stick with the agreement and there won't be any dispute, right? I think why they are upset is when we start burning them, they thought that we would, the plan was to disrupt their repute score. As what I'm trying to say is they were ranked a bit lower, so does HBR. So they thought that we were trying to help HBR gaining more repute than Knights of 7. But HBR is still $1 billion in deficit compared to Knights of 7. Knights of 7 even beat server 14. Okay, so they worked really hard for their repute and they earn it. Good for you. But that was not the plan to hurt your reputation scoring. HBR declared before the conquest that their goal is to do the strict minimum and not play for repute, as I guess they want to keep their energy for the final round, which is understandable. Okay, so if you think there was a plot against you, there was no plot against you, there were no bad intention, but just keep in mind that if you turn your back against us, you will get burned. That's how it works. You know, Cairo, there's always some betray. Every time you play for rewards, there's always an alliance that will be greedy and wants to claim more rewards. I understand that. It's the name of the game. That's what makes this conquest interesting. But then don't cry about it. Okay, you try, it didn't work, so let be it. That's it, friends. I hope I covered everything. I hope I explained the situation. Take it or leave it. I really don't care. I'm not taking this seriously. I'm just stating the fact. You don't have to believe me. Trust me. I just want to make this video entertaining. That's all I have for you today, friends. By the way, we will have a final conquest before the Paramount final. However, this conquest will not count for Paramount score. It's only for the rewards. And we will play probably against server 14 again. Hopefully the matchup will be even. Okay, as we always want to be busy. If we win, we win. If we lose, we lose. Okay, take care, have a great week, and I'll catch you on the next video. See ya.